This is the United Kingdom, a state known for its royalty, Big Ben, English breakfast, William Shakespeare, and so on. But sadly, it's become a place where many people struggle to get a home. Shockingly, 1 in 50 people in the UK are homeless. However, a dual nature persists in the UK. With the 6th largest economy in the world, worth $3.5 trillion, the United Kingdom is the top spot for business services, finance, and insurance. Many people consider it their dream destination, since it has a strong economy and a reputation of offering high-quality services and an ideal life. But that's far from the reality. It's no surprise, in the UK, the rich are super rich and the poor are very poor. Since 2007, the average household in the UK has seen a drop in its living standards. Back then, it was 8% below households in northwestern Europe, but now it's 20% behind. And that's worse than its counterparts in Slovenia. In terms of income and living standards, the average UK household ranks 12th globally, and the poorest 5% fall to the 15th position. This significantly drops its living standards. In contrast, even Norway's poorest 5% are among the happiest people in the world. This is the reason British nationals are relocating abroad, and foreigners think twice before hopping on the train. This is also supported by the data. In 2023, 508,000 Brits immigrated from the UK compared to 471,000 in 2022. That's 37,000 more than the previous year. Once the symbol of stability and a magnet for global investments is now facing a tide of departure. But what's actually driving the people to leave the UK? Why does no one want to live in the UK? In this video, we'll uncover these questions and much more. But before we get into the dark side of living in the UK, hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel to watch interesting videos like this. It's not only the UK where the cost of living is higher, but the US living index is 7.7% more than the UK. But the good thing about living in the US is that their wages are comparatively higher. Despite both countries having an average working week of 36.4 hours, there's a pay difference between the two. Even junior workers in the US have more income than their counterparts in the UK. That's really disheartening. Meanwhile, some countries like the Netherlands have shorter working hours at 33.2 hours per week and more productivity, giving a reason to Brits to leave the UK. And that's not all. The United Kingdom is facing a worsening cost of living crisis. This is making living here pretty difficult. Speaking of energy prices, the soaring prices of road fuel costs and household energy tariffs are the main drivers of this high inflation. By autumn 2023, energy bills were 50% higher than in 2022 and 2021. After the invasion of Russia and Ukraine, gas prices have increased a lot due to the cuts in Russian supply. And what about electricity? Since electricity and gas prices are interlined, it followed the same upward trend. This high inflation has not just hit the UK. Many other countries face similar challenges. In fact, countries like the US, Germany, and France have undergone similar annual changes in consumer prices, with an annual inflation rate of 2.3%. However, in the UK, the cost of utilities is 50% higher than in the United States. Compared to last year, the Consumer Prices Index, or CPI, was 2.3% higher in April 2024. Since the UK is a large net importer of goods, several international factors impact consumer prices. First off, strong international demand for goods after the pandemic and associated lockdowns led to increased inflation. Consequently, this high consumer demand disrupted the supply chain. Additionally, the Russo-Ukrainian war has contributed to soaring energy and fuel prices. The disruption in the global supply chains also increased food prices in the UK. And it's no surprise food inflation is running at 14.9%. With that said, many people cannot afford to get food and cover their other expenses, and become socially isolated. A recent study into hunger in the UK shows that over a quarter of people referred to food banks are socially isolated. If you dream of owning a home, the UK might not be for you, unless you have deep pockets or incredibly good luck. The UK has the most homeless people per capita among all developed countries. But why is the UK facing such a housing crisis? Simply put, increased interest rates and mortgages have driven up household rent prices. As of 2023, the monthly rent for a modest 85 square meter furnished accommodation in an expensive area is $4,493, while the same space in a normal area demands approximately $3,825. Rental rates in the UK are higher than the developed countries. For instance, an average rent per month in London is around $2,500. In contrast, other developed cities like Amsterdam and Berlin have lower monthly rental costs, ranging between $1,000 to $1,600. Furthermore, the housing crisis in the UK is the result of some historical policies. Back in 1980, the Right to Buy scheme introduced the Housing Act. Undeniably, the Right to Buy successfully promoted homeownership, but it also led to a shortage of affordable social housing. So what was the result? Obviously, with limited housing options, demand and prices skyrocketed. The financial strain caused by high rental costs has contributed to an increase in homelessness. What further makes it challenging to live in the UK is recent government policies, such as changes in tax rates and reductions in social welfare benefits. Under all these circumstances, the UK housing market has become a challenge for the average person. Even today, ordinary residents in the UK find it challenging to access free treatments in the National Health Service. This is largely due to overwhelming challenges related to underfunding and resource shortages in the NHS, which adversely affect the timeliness and quality of care. According to a report, ambulance services in the UK received 860,000 calls in April 2022. This signifies the need for demand and highlights the mismatch between demands and available resources. Further, this resource constraint leads to painfully long waiting times in emergency departments for certain treatments. Surveys show that 57% of patients were seen in 4 hours in accident and emergency departments. Alarmingly, this is one of the lowest rates. Besides, mental health services are facing similar challenges and are stretched thin. Conditions like depression, anxiety disorders, and psychosis are rising and need proper attention. Yet an estimated 8 million people in the UK are deprived of mental health support. For a long time, the reason for the boom of the NHS was attributed to Brexit. But in reality, it did not fulfill its promise of additional funding and failed to reduce pressure from immigration. Next up, the UK's political climate is affecting its inhabitants strongly since the country appears more divided than ever before. It all started with Brexit. In 2016, the UK's vote to leave the European Union brought a sense of uncertainty among citizens. Everything was under question, from the future of trade to job security. After Brexit, businesses had to adapt to new rules and regulations. Some tried to struggle with new regulations, while others relocated to other European countries. Additionally, a rapid turnover of prime ministers, each bringing their own policies, created uncertainty and made life in the UK harder. Unlike the UK, countries like Canada, Japan, and Germany have a stable political climate and less frequent leadership changes, so many people prefer these countries for relocating. Still, if anyone finds it their dream destination for seeking opportunities in a new life, they'll find that the once welcoming nature of the UK has shifted since it's not opening doors easily for immigrants. Hundreds of thousands of petitioners have signed to stop allowing immigrants to enter the UK. The stricter immigration policies make it difficult for people from abroad to secure visas and settle in the UK. Now let's talk about the weather. When people think of the UK, they often associate it with a country with frequent rain, but in reality, it's not like that. It has both rainy days and completely dry days. However, the unpredictable nature of its weather has earned it a bad reputation. On average, the UK has 164 sunny days compared to cities like Los Angeles and Madrid, which have around 263 and 300 sunny days respectively annually. Undeniably, the UK's weather impacts not only people's physical health, but also mental well-being. In the UK, hundreds of thousands of people are depressed and are suffering from seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. From 0.5% to 2.4% of the population suffer from it. Anywhere between 268,000 and 1.6 million people in the UK. Consequently, many citizens feel depressed, lethargic, and irritable. Since the UK is known for its unpredictable heavy rains, outdoor activities such as sports and tours here are mostly affected. Many people tend to spend more time indoors, restricting their social interactions. Pollution is another concern in the UK. Bustling cities with high traffic and industries have poor air quality. Many people are suffering from respiratory disorders due to bad air quality. Even though the UK has some beautiful parks, they're not easily accessible to everyone. These overcrowded parks, gloomy weather, and air pollution don't make the UK appealing. Many people prefer to shift from the UK to countries where these issues are not prevalent. You might compromise on weather and other factors when it comes to living in the UK, but you won't like to live in a country where you're unsafe. In the urban areas of the UK, the yearly crime rate is 85 per 1,000 people as of April 2024. It's not just the number that threatens the people, but actually the incidents of harassment, burglary, and sexual assault are very common in urban areas, creating a sense of insecurity among citizens. In recent years, terrorism threats in the UK have been alarming. Particularly, transport infrastructure is facing substantial threats. Actually, it's not limited to just threats. Cities like London and Manchester have been targeted by terrorists recently. Many people have lost their lives in such incidents. Others have got injuries. The non-victims of these unusual circumstances feel unsafe, which prompts them to move to a safer environment elsewhere. Besides physical threats, the UK is facing cyber threats too. One of the Tier 1 national security threats is online ransomware attacks. This increases the need for strong cybersecurity in the UK. If you're watching this video from the UK and have been a victim of online attacks, share your experience in the comments below. Gone are the days when the UK was appealing to both national and international students. There's no denying that the UK's universities and other educational institutes attract many students, but they're not offering exceptional learning experiences. The funding cuts in primary and secondary education are impacting learning environments. Further, budget constraints are restricting the students and teachers from getting the sufficient support they need in schools. Students are compelled to study outdated materials, and teachers have lower job satisfaction levels and suffer from higher stress. This actually impacts the students' performance overall. These funding shortages also affect the university's ability to maintain high standards. That being said, universities are offering just fewer courses and striving hard to maintain high academic standards. If you're planning to pursue your higher education in the UK, consider the high expenses of university education. The rising tuition fees have exerted a financial burden on students. Many of the fresh graduates are struggling to repay loans while trying to secure a stable and well-paying job. Moreover, the highly competitive education system increases student pressure. As a result, it poses an additional challenge for students aiming to seek academic success in the UK. Looking ahead, the UK economy doesn't seem to be improving significantly. High inflation is likely to continue, and people will keep struggling with the housing crisis. However, with comprehensive policy changes and investments, the financial burden could be relieved. Additionally, increased funding and urgent reforms could ease the NHS strain. As a whole, a coordinated effort from the government and private sectors is required to create a prosperous future in the UK. What does a person want in a country to live in? Stable economic and political conditions, affordable living, good weather, high-paying job opportunities, and safety. Unfortunately, the UK does not tick all these boxes. And today, it's not a dream destination of many people. What about you? Do you still find it appealing to live there? Would you consider living in the UK despite these challenges? Would the UK overcome these challenges and become a spot of attraction for many people? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And do like this video and share it with your friends if you found it insightful. Thank you for watching.